Tidwell Taste Tour is back. We have done gin-based drinks and things like that before. However, we have not yet done a straight gin, and I would love to.
All the other ones have been gay.
Gay meaning happy. A gin without a mix.
Oh. Oh.
This is the Plymouth Gin. This is the smooth English gin, they self-proclaimed. It's 41.2% alcohol by volume from the V&S Plymouth Limited Blackfriars Distillery, Plymouth, England. Plymouth, England is way, way far on the west coast. It's near Penzance. It's where a lot of the pirates were back in the day.
Tell us a little bit about gin. What is gin?
Gin is a distilled beverage, as you probably know. Gin,
made from juniper berries?
Gin, the main ingredient is juniper berries. However,
And pine trees.
And the reason that came about was because back when distillation techniques were much more remedial, much more just
Crude.
Crude, yeah, that's the perfect word for it. If you just distilled it straight, this is basically vodka.
Mm-hmm.
What they would do, that tasted so disgusting though at the time that they would try to flavor it with anything they could. Juniper berries ended up being one that was really that did really well, and that sort of flavor came from the Netherlands and Belgium. When it came over into England, there were a couple reasons it came over into England. I talked about this in one of the early episodes of Beefeater Gin episode a little bit, but basically there was a couple things. One of which being the fact that the imported taxes that they passed at the time in England were so high, and technically distilling stuff by yourself was legal. So these people thought, well, why wouldn't we just distill this shit ourselves? And they started adding botanicals and stuff to it, and then eventually people started dying from it, and the gin plague, I believe they called it, the gin something epidemic basically happened, and it became known as a poor man's drink, and now it's known as a nice gentleman's drink again.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is actually when quinine was first introduced, when the Brits were going to India. Quinine was known to fight malaria, and basically it's funny because we think of a gin and tonic as this sweeter drink, and you mix the gin with it, and the gin's the bitter part. What it was back in the day, the reason it's even called tonic water is because this quinine stuff was mixed with gin. Gin was the killer for the bad taste of the quinine. The quinine was so bitter. It was this medicinal taste that was so bitter that gin made it taste better.
Interesting.
A couple interesting facts there. So, anyways, the Plymouth Gin, distilled with soft Dartmoor water, this unique style of gin has been made in the historic part of Plymouth, southwest England, since 1793. Reputedly, the first documented recipe for the dry martini called for this impeccable taste. Sorry for rambling a little bit there. I enjoy talking about gin.
It's very interesting.
Gin is an interesting spirit. When you actually discuss gin, a lot of people.
It's got a good soul too.
And it's often used as a medicine. It was definitely used as a medicine in early America.
Yeah.
They gave it to babies even to soothe them.
When I was
It's a good antidepressant.
When I was a baby, I was given whiskey for my teething.
Were you?
My parents are from West Virginia.
Ah, there you go.
No wonder you're an
There you
alcoholic.
go.
This explains a lot.
No wonder.
This doesn't really have a strong gin smell.
Yeah. Not a whole lot of pine tree like a lot of.
Well, it's a pretty good flavor to it.
It is.
I mean, it's gin. It's strong. It's definitely strong.
It's not as strong as some other gins I've had.
It's relatively smooth, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's not bad at all. I think it could. It's actually a much more neutral gin than compared to some of the ones I've had. It's much more like vodka than a lot of gins I've had.
I
I mean,
agree with that.
it's very. A lot of the gins you'll have, these days have a ton of botanicals in them, and that's the point of the gin. Like Bombay Sapphire is one of these gins that was created by the Pernod Ricard company to basically have just a ton of flavor. It has all these botanicals in it. Look at all these flavors. This isn't like that. This is actually probably what I would imagine a more traditional gin would probably
Pure
taste
gin.
like.
A pure gin.
I like it. I'm gonna give it a 7.0.
Yeah. I'll give it a 7.5. I like it.
I'll give it a 5.5 because I'm not much of a gin drinker, but from what I have had, it's not. Yeah, pretty much what you said. It's not like there's nothing bad about it. It's less punchy, I guess.
No, it is,
say
and that's and that's part of not only the alcohol content, but just the less botanicals. You
Yeah.
know,
Goes down pretty easy
it
Yeah.
does. Yeah, it's
for a
good.
straight gin.
I could definitely see this being real nice with the tonic, or even even in a martini. You know, it's because it's funny. Sometimes you want those martinis or those gin and tonics that have a lot of that, just a lot of different flavors, and sometimes you want them where it's just kind of neutral and bland and just refreshing. And I think this would be a better, just nice, neutral, refreshing one than anything else. 5.5, 6.5. Is that what I gave it?
Did I say 5.5?
You said 5.
You said 5.5. You said 7.
And you said 7.5.
Yeah.
7.0, 7.5, 5.5. Closing comments.
It's not bad.
Closing comments.
Pure, clear,
It's clear, yeah.
smooth.
The Plymouth Gin from Plymouth, England, very western part of the country. Check it out check it out if you like a very pure traditional style gin. The Typical Taster will be back with more. We hope you've enjoyed this one, and we hope you will stick around and view some more of our episodes. So thank you.